All right, good day, good day. How are you doing today? Because you can respond. I am well, thank you. So we've got a viewer requested slide here. It's been a little while since we fulfilled a viewer request. Not real long, but I can't recall the last one that I did that was viewer requested. But these are. I've been getting requests on these since kind of beginning of the summer, and I just never got around to doing it. Partly because I was waiting to find them on sale. And they're just kind of a milquetoast design. There wasn't a whole lot that was really enticing me to try this. I just didn't see them doing anything that exciting with it, so I wasn't really drawn to it. But this is the North Face. Ta-da! The North Face Never Stop Crush Slide, which is quite a peculiar title for a slide. Never stop. Never stop exploring. That makes more sense. All right, but these are on sale right now on the North Face website, which is why I finally broke down and picked them up. And I needed to get a few more in the inventory to review. I had a little extra cash, so I got a couple on order. All right. Partly why I didn't order this is because they look identical to the or didn't order this sooner, as they look identical to the Fat Tire slide. And we can do a comparison to the Fat Tire slide as we review these. We'll make it more of a well-rounded video. Not only are we reviewing it, but we are comparing it to the Fat Tire. Because at a glance, they look like the Fat Tire slide. So, but I've heard criticisms that these run a little narrow. I ended up getting the 12s. I could have gotten them in an 11 on eBay sooner, but some of the reviews said that they ran narrow and it had a funky shape to like the toe box or something. It does look like it kind of narrows in the middle here. So I figured I would have better luck with the 12s than the 11s. So we'll dive into all of that in a little bit. Let's go read what North Face has to say about the Never Stop Exploring Crush Slide. They look okay though, like the quality looks decent. North Face usually makes okay products. So let's go read the write-up. Let's go take a read. Follow me. All right, mic is on. We are good. Okay. This is straight off the North Face website for the men's Never Stop Crush Slides. They are currently on sale for $28 in two colorways. The Gravel, which is like a tan khaki, and then the Duck Green, which is what I got, which is a decent green. But they also have the Black and the Concrete, which are still full price for $40. And it looks like they are selling quick. Yeah, they are almost all sold out already. So in the sale price ones. But I recall seeing them, like I said, they had them on sale elsewhere. There was some on eBay for like around the same price, around $30. So just look around for them. If you can't find them on sale, just wait a little bit. We're getting into the prime sale season for slides. So if there's something that you've been itching to get and it isn't currently on sale or currently available, just kind of wait around for a little bit and they should come back in inventory, or just look around more. But anyways, I digress. Description: designed to deliver ultimate comfort so you never have to stop. The men's Never Stop Crush Slides are perfect for running errands around town or relaxing at base camp after a long day of exploring. Features: it just says upper, no description, just upper. And then under that, lightweight and slightly firmer ground contact EVA outsole provides stability and added durability. So they are kind of geared for like a hiker slide, it seems. And then it just says sole unit. Under that, 3.5 millimeter lugs provide traction on outdoor surfaces. See, these are, I don't know when these came out, but these I feel are a direct copy of the Fat Tire slide. Details, size 7 through 14, approximate weight for half pair is 7.3 ounces. And that's it. They've got pretty high ratings. 92% recommendation, 4.6 out of 5 stars with 53 reviews. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. All right. I think that's all we have to say. Let's go take a look at them and we shall compare them to the Fat Tires. All right. So let us inspect the Never Stop Crush. And I have the Fat Tires right here. So we will set those aside for the moment and focus on these. Actually, let's get them we'll get them out of the shot so we're not distracted. We'll take a look at these first. So we've got kind of a nice little wave pattern on the insole here. Let's see if we can get a shot at the ergos. So first and foremost, these are a textile strap slide. We've got a textile strap that gives the illusion of being sewn in, which is a first. These are usually glued on, but this stitching right here appears to go into the EVA, which is nice. So it looks like it's glued, but it is also stitched in. So, all right, back to the footbed. Looks like we've got a little ergo going on. It's relatively flat. There's a little bit of an arch rise kind of on the inside. Just as shallow of a heel cup also. And then just as shallow of a forefoot dip too. And then there's really not much for the toes other than the wave pattern kind of accenting where the toes go. So it's a very non-aggressive footbed, you could say. There's the North Face logo kind of stitched in, it looks like, on the top strap. So it's kind of clean looking. I like how it's just the outline. That's nice. And then they are utilizing the North Face logo for the traction lugs, which is something akin to the booty, the North Face booty. If you haven't watched the booty video yet, please go check it out. I dropped this one in the middle of the summer when they were on sale. These were only $40 or something crazy, which they normally retail for like $70. So that was a steal. That was a summer steal. But anyways, check out this video. We're slowly getting into that season, but you can see that they have also done that with the outsole. They are using the North Face logo more as like a tiling traction on the booty, whereas it's more of like a tread, like lugs on the Never Stop Crush slide. But I thought I would show off the booty. It's actually not a bad video. Those are cool. I'm excited to get snow so I can wear those. It's sad to say. I hate to say it because I'll be crying about snow once it's here. But anyways, back to the Crush slide. The EVA feels pretty squishy. It's got a firmness to it. It's very solid, kind of, but it has a good squish factor going on to where it's got some decent compression to it. So I think that's probably what most people are enjoying about these is that compression. But they do look like they're decent construction, decent made slide. There's our Never Stop Exploring on the heel. I do kind of like how they've created this spatial effect with the logo getting smaller, kind of going off into the horizon and then getting larger as it comes to the bottom. It gives kind of a nice spatial effect there. But it's kind of a grid pattern as far as the lugs go. Then we've got a logo in the center that's recessed. And then we have kind of an extended logo on the toe here. Probably for a little added traction. And it's also on the heel. That might just be more of a style thing than anything. A stylized element. Just for something different. Opposite corners. So they look good. I kind of like the design. The color isn't bad either. So I think that's everything. That might be the sizing, the 1200, since these are 12s, I'm guessing. So before we throw them on foot, let's compare them in hand to the off-road, or the fat tire, sorry, the Under Armour fat tire slide. So just at a glance, you can kind of see the similarities. We've got a very aggressive lug pattern to the outsole. Kind of a mild footbed. These bumps on the insole of the fat tire are not from the lugs. That is a separate, very shallow texture. So it's not like you're feeling the lugs underneath, because that was the impression I had too, and I've shown these to other people and they thought that too, that the lugs are actually coming through, but it's not like that. It's very soft. These are very squishy. I'm a big fan of these. These have kind of been my number 2 or my number 3 on my slide list, which I will update at some point in the future. But I really recommend these fat tire slides. So compared to the Never Stop, it looks like they are wider. Let's just come up a little higher. So the dimensions are different. They might be designed relative, but the dimensions are different. You can see that the Never Stop, we'll just call them the Crush. You can see that the Crush slides are narrower and a little longer. These are 11s though, keep in mind. So I imagine if I had gotten an 11 with the Crush slide, which I might need the 11, because these fit almost exact, so these are going to be a little long, these Crush slides. But they do have a different dimension there. So these might fit your foot better. If you've got a little more narrow feet than what would be fitting in these Under Armour, you can kind of see the difference in the dimensions. So depending on the shape of your foot, you might like one or the other. But they both look like they're offering a similar experience, just with their design. So the straps are both very padded. Looks like they're relative in padding. The Crush slide looks like it's got a little more padding. A little bit. It's a little firmer of a padding too. This fat tire is a little softer of a padding. So they are pretty relative though. Kind of like an outdoorsy aggressive slide. I think just the dimensions is the main difference. Yeah, these Crush slides might be too big for me. But oh well. So I think that's all I have to really say about them in hand. There's not a whole lot to say when it comes to the textile slides. I mean, they're obviously very relative visually, and they just have different dimensions and kind of different styling components to it. But other than that, it looks like they're kind of the same slide. So we'll find out as far as the comfort goes in a moment how different they are. But that's one of the things I really like about the fat tire slide is how squishy they are, and they don't have a whole lot of ergos to it. It's kind of a flatter footbed. So sometimes like my feet get sore and swollen from work, and I don't want anything too aggressive. And those fat tire slides are really nice for that. They're like a good recovery slide when your feet are like sore and you just need some, like a flatter footbed that's nice and squishy. So, all right, let's slide in. I don't have any socks on, so let's slide right in barefoot with these. Oh, these are kind of nice. Just have a good squish to them. They are a little narrow though. That texture isn't bad though. Just that line texture. So, I think I should have gotten the 11s, but these are very squishy. They've got a really good compression to them. And it's kind of a similar experience where it's a flatter footbed, but it has good compression. So that compression is kind of catering to the shape of the foot and kind of creating good ergonomic support. So these aren't bad. These aren't bad. I might have to recommend these. I probably won't keep them though, just because they are a little big, and I'm kind of getting the same experience with the fat tire. So, all right, sorry about that. I ran out of space, so we can just start walking in these. I don't remember what I was saying, but these are very similar experience to those fat tire slides, just a little more narrow. So I think if you've got a narrower foot, these would probably be a better option for you than the fat tires, but other than that, they're pretty much the same experience. One of the nice things about these slides are the strap, how comfortable that strap is. Just having a textile strap on top, it's very kind of nice. It's nice on the top of like a barefoot. That's one thing I like about those fat tires. It's just a very, like, you don't even feel it's there. That's kind of one of the negatives, not necessarily a negative, but it's a little more impressionable in the all EVA slides when they have an EVA strap on the top. You just feel it more on your foot a little bit. Whereas when it's a textile strap, it's a little softer on the top of your foot, and I'm getting that with these these Crush slides. It's a very, very comfortable strap. It's comfortable on the bend too. It's not pressing into my toes at all. And that EVA is very nice and squishy. So these are pretty good. The strap is nice and tight too. So these aren't terribly fitting. I've got a little space on the toe and a little space at the back of the heel. And the width is kind of, the width is acceptable. I'm wondering if the 11s would be too narrow in these, because the width is kind of tight. I don't know if I'd want to go down anymore with the width. So I guess depending on, if you're looking at getting these, depending on how wide of a foot you have, you might want to go up if you're on a half size. If your foot is a little more narrow, you could probably go down if you're on a half size. If you are on a whole size, you are probably okay with going true to size. So these aren't bad. These aren't bad. But if you have a wider foot and you don't want them to be too long, too large, the fat tire is pretty much the same experience in a wider package. And these actually fit my foot a little bit better. So you can just see the width difference. The Crush slide feels a little taller than these, the fat tires. Fat tires feel a little like I'm a little lower to the ground, but the squish is kind of relative. The squish is comparable. The fat tire might be a little softer. I'm getting a little more compression with the fat tire. They're a little squishier. So if I had to pick, I would choose these fat tire over the Crush slide. They just fit my foot better. These also run large though, so I would size down with the fat tires if you're looking at getting them. So another slide in this realm that I've actually already started reviewing, but I had to return them because I got the wrong size, is the Project Rock 3 slide. Which is kind of like, it's supposed to be an elevated version of the fat tire slide, but I had gotten them in a 12 and they were too big, and honestly I didn't feel that they were any better than the fat tire, but they have since gone out of sale and I'm not going to pay $70 for them, so I will wait around until I get the Project Rock in an 11, and then we will finish that review. So that one's kind of in limbo for the time being, but that is another slide that is relative to these. So, but yeah, these aren't bad. These Crush slides, these aren't bad. But like I had mentioned, depending on the shape of your foot, you might enjoy the fat tires over the Crush slide. But these might fit your foot shape better though too. So it's same experience pretty much. I'd say about 85-90% the same experience. I kind of like the texture on my barefoot with the Crush slides over the, there really isn't a texture on the fat tires. You don't really feel those bumps. So that's one thing that the Crush are doing better than the fat tire is that texture. I like that line texture on my barefoot. So, but yeah, I think that's all I have to say about these. I don't want to make this video too long. But yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad. I see why people are digging them. So, cool. Alright, the Crush slide, the Never Stop Crush slide. So these are kind of what I was expecting them to be. Just a variation of the fat tire slide. So these weren't super exciting to unbox, but they're a good slide though. You know, the fat tire is a good slide. I don't think they're better than the fat tire, but that is based on my fit too. You know, like you might enjoy these over the fat tire if they fit your foot better. So it all depends on your foot, I guess. But these are a good textile strap slide. If you're looking for a textile strap slide that is very squishy with a non-aggressive footbed and an overly aggressive outsole, like if you need something more for recovery in the wilderness, you know, I think that's what these are kind of geared as. So much like the fat tire, just having that aggressive outsole, you know. But I think that's all I have to say about these. They're not bad. The sale price is always better, so if you've been trying to get these, now is probably a good time to try to find them. But I think that's all I have to say. I'm just repeating myself at this point, so if anything else comes to mind, I will make some notations or add some other clips to this video, but if not, then thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. You leave your thoughts and comments below regarding the Never Stop Crush slide from NorthFace. And if you have any other requests or suggestions, feel free to leave them below as I read all of the comments. So thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, take care. Cheers.